Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about manhood. What is manhood? What does it mean to be a man? What does being a man look like? And more specifically, how emotional intelligence is something that's been left out of manhood for far too long. If you guys grew up like me, we were told things like big boys don't cry, or, and you can fill in the blank for yourself. A real man blanks. A real man shoots first. A real man swings first. A real man won't put up with this or won't put up with that. A real man will do this or will do that. A real man will have this or will have that. A real man looks like this or looks like that. We were taught, at least I was taught, that manhood, being a man, was determined by and dependent on, or was dependent on, something outside of myself, external. I had to do something. I had to appear to be something. I had to have something. I had to make something happen in the world in order for me to qualify to be a man. And I think that narrative really needs to be addressed in our culture. Because the more I learn about emotional intelligence and the importance of it, the impact of it on every area of our lives, the more God's giving me a heart to serve men in this area and in this space. For far too long, brothers have been told, don't express yourself. Don't talk about your feelings. Don't hire a coach. Don't go to counseling. No matter how bad it's gotten, you don't need that, because real men don't need that. Real men, we own it. Real men, we man up. We stand on our own 2 feet. And see, the damaging part about all of these statements is that the person that's saying it could mean one thing or intend for you to get one thing, but that doesn't matter. The intent doesn't matter. It's the energy behind it. It's the time. It's the age and stage in your life when they said it to you. All of those determining factors go into what it translates and what it means to you ultimately. And for me, I'm just sharing my story. For me, it meant that I had to prove myself into manhood. I had to achieve myself into manhood. I had to do enough things, achieve enough things, attain enough things, accumulate enough things, enough points. I had to prove myself to this person or to that person. And the truth is, I don't have to prove, and I never had to prove myself to anybody, because none of those people created me, and none of those people really had the credentials to be telling me what a real man does or doesn't do. See, what I've learned is we go through these cycles in our family lines. Some people call them, what's the word that we use? Not family curse, but maybe it'll come to me later on. But generational curse, right? We call them generational curses. And what we're trying to express is, basically at some point someone passed on an idea in our family line, and then it got passed on to the next person, so on and so forth, right? And so many times you have uncles, you have fathers, you have brothers, cousins, you have other male figures in your family, and they will say things to you, right? Like, big boys don't cry. And I'm just using that one as an example because it's pretty popular within our culture, right? So they'll pass on something, and they were doing the best they could in their minds to protect you, to equip you, to prepare you to be a man in this big, bad, cruel world. Most of the times, they had the right intention. They were trying to protect you. They were trying to prepare you for something. But in their ignorance, in them not being qualified to give you that advice, sometimes it did more hurting and it did more harm than helping. Because see, what happened was we learned, we were taught, we were conditioned, our hearts were cultivated to not express, to not tap into what we are feeling at any given time. We were taught not to feel, not to be expressive, to suppress everything, to hold everything in, and to save face. We were taught how to put on a mask and pretend like we're someone that we're not. And then later on in life, the culture says, hey, be you, right? Do you, be the true, authentic, real you. And so it's flipped on its head. The formative years in our lives, like for me, we were told, suppress it, don't show no emotion, don't be a punk, don't be a sissy, right? Don't be a coward, right? Man up, own it, right? Stand up for yourself, right? Be tough, right? Be a man, right? And so we were told all those things. And so all we did was learn how to suppress and hide and mask what we really felt in the moment. Because sometimes we felt like crying, but we couldn't, because that wouldn't be being a man. Sometimes we felt like running away, but that wouldn't be being a man. I mean, sometimes we felt like doing all kinds of things, but because the culture and those around us, we felt pressured and intimidated to not do those things and not express those feelings. And so we became numb to them and we calloused over. And we now, as we get older, we don't know how. We're not emotionally intelligent. We don't know how to express ourselves. We don't know how to identify what we're feeling in a given moment, let alone know how to then learn from that emotion and then how to leverage and use that emotion. I mean, ultimately, that's what emotional intelligence is, right? Being able to read yourself and read others in a given situation and moment, and then being skilled enough to navigate that emotion, whether it's ours or someone else's, and leverage it and maneuver it to our good, to our benefit. So what happened was, because we calloused over and we learned not to deal with our emotions, to push them away, to push them aside, then we didn't get good at using them. We didn't get good at learning from them, leaning into them and learning and being aware of what they're trying to show us and inform us of. And so we became emotionally ignorant, which set us up for failure in a lot of areas of our lives, because emotional intelligence will invade every relationship that you're a part of. It will invade your ability to make money on your job, right? There's been research and studies that have shown that for every point of what they call an EQ, your emotional intelligence, for every point that you gain and grow in your emotional intelligence, it equals to about $1,100 to $1,700 increase in your salary per year. So the more emotionally intelligent you are, the more money you make, right? So that should be, big for those of us who want to get the bag and, who want to, right? And so just like learning all of these different things, whether it's relationships, whether it's your money, your career path, whether it's just your own personal emotional state, whether you feel good or feel bad, all of these things are wrapped up in emotional intelligence. But as a man, as a young man, as a boy, growing and maturing, for most of us in those formative years, man, we were told some things that began to work against us and derail us and deflate us emotionally. So now we're, by society standards, we're adults, we're men, and we're expected to raise families responsibly. We are expected to go to work and be of integrity and be of character. We are expected to operate in society, in our neighborhoods, in our communities with integrity and with character. We're expected right? To walk the line and to do good. But we weren't taught how to manage what we feel. And so for many of us, what happens is because we don't know how to manage our emotions, they're going to still show up. They don't go anywhere. They're there. Many of us, we feel a lot of conflict on the inside because we're feeling something and we don't know what it is and we don't know how to relate to it and we don't know how to maneuver it, right? We don't know how to work with it. We don't know how to partner with it, because that's really what emotions are for partnership, right? They provide us information, we gather that information, and then we take the proper next steps. That's really what they're there for. But because we didn't build a good relationship with our emotions, we suppressed them and pushed them to the side. We don't really know them, AKA we don't really know ourselves, because the emotions are a part of us, right? Man, this rabbit hole goes deep. I just wanted to share with you, man, today, because I could talk forever about this. I'm becoming really passionate about this because I see the importance of this, not only for men in general, but men in the church, Christian men, Christian leaders, right? And I mean, obviously, it's for women as well, but my passion, my heart is for the brothers. But, you know, I can talk on this forever. So let me kind of get back to my point today. I want to encourage you, if you're a man, to understand that nothing outside of you makes you a man. Manhood was established at conception. God conceived you in his mind. You're God's idea. And he conceived your manhood. Let us create man, human, right? Then it was broken down male, female, but he created you to be what you are. And then if it was male and female, then it was that God had decided it. God had determined it. So when your mother gave birth to you, your manhood was established. Your manhood is not something that you earn. It's not something that you work toward. It's what you are. It's a part of you. It's always been there. It will always be there. Nothing this world can do, nothing I can do, anyone else can do, people in your family, co-workers, friends, people in your community, nothing anyone can do can stop you from being a man. So if you're wrestling with this concept and this idea, I got to be a man about this, I got to be a man about that. The truth is, you ain't got to be a man about nothing. A man is what you are. Now, let me draw a quick distinction just to be clear. Many times people say, oh, you ain't a man because, you know, you ain't taking care of your business, right? Maybe you got a family, a girlfriend, a wife, children, and, you know, maybe you ain't working. Maybe you ain't bringing in no bread. Maybe you ain't doing right by them. And so they'll throw the man statement out at you. Oh, you ain't being no man. What they're trying to say is you're not being responsible. And I want you to use that, and I want you to apply it to every other context, right? When people say you ain't being a man because of this, you ain't being a man because of that, really what they're trying to express, the essence, the spirit of what they're saying is you're not being responsible. But it doesn't bring manhood in and of itself into question. Your manhood is never in question. The only thing that's in question is whether or not you're being responsible, taking care of your business, doing what you're supposed to do. That's man and woman. That's anybody, right? If you just ain't taking care of your business, then you just ain't taking care of your business. But I just really wanted to be a voice. I just really wanted to deliver this message, to be a messenger of this. And I'm going to be doing a lot more of this. I'm just getting started. But I just wanted you to know, man, that if you're someone, young, old, or somewhere in between, you're a man and you don't know how to express yourself. You're a man and you don't know how to deal with what you're feeling. I want you to know, man, that you can change that. You can turn that around. You don't have to continue to be conflicted on the inside. You don't have to continue to be burdened and weighed down and stressed out of your mind. You don't have to continue to be isolated and keep this thing a secret. You don't have to keep pretending like it's all good when inside it's all bad. Emotional intelligence is something that you can learn. It's a skill. And okay, maybe you went the first 20, 30, 40 years, like me, without knowing any of this. It's never too late. It's never over. Whatever your life has been up until this point, that's what it's been. But you can start to take the steps necessary to begin to learn what you've never learned before, so that you can begin to live the life that you've never lived before. Our lives really come down to our learning and our language. What goes in here and what comes out of here. And I won't go down that rabbit hole because that's a whole nother video. But your life is the sum total right now of what you've learned, good or bad, and the language in which you use concerning you and those around you, good or bad. You've learned to live the way that you live. The good news is, if you don't like it, then you can learn to live in a new way. So I want to encourage you to learn emotional intelligence. You can click the link below and you can get in contact with me if you're looking for that personal accountability, coaching, someone that can walk with you, someone that can break these principles down, that can really, help to walk with you through the process, helping you break down the concepts and really create a course of navigation for your life. I'm available for that. That's what I do. But you can also learn these things on your own. You can read the books, you can take the courses, you can watch the videos. Doesn't matter to me kind of how you go about it, man. I just want to be an encouragement. I just want to be a voice. I just want to be a messenger, letting you know that your manhood is not something that you have to determine. It's not something that you have to decide for yourself. Too many of us are doing things on our own and by ourselves, and that's the weight of the world that you feel on your shoulders, because you're trying to do everything on your own. And God did not create you, design you to do things on your own. Life is collaboration. Life is cooperation. Life is the collective effort. And you need somebody, just like I needed somebody, just like we all need somebody to partner with to make it through this thing called life. So I hope and pray that this has been an encouragement to you, that it's provided you some much needed information, giving you something to consider, something to think about, something to think through. And again, I just want to encourage you, man, whenever you're watching this video, whether it's at the end of this year, the beginning of next year, whenever you come across it, consider making it a conscious choice and decision to learn emotional intelligence, to learn what you feel, discover why you feel it, and to discover and to develop the skill sets on how to use the information that you discover about yourself. I love you guys. I'm praying for you guys. I believe in you guys. In closing, remember, if you can see what's possible, you can be what's possible. So let's keep looking to live all that God has made possible. Love y'all, man. Salute. Love.